You probably clicked on this video because you're thinking about buying one of these Firefly FFST EVH style guitars that are available on sites like Guitars Garden. Nice matching headstock there. I took the truss rod adjustment plate off. It comes with a plate. These are stainless frets. It is relic, and it has oxidized hardware. Some of it is like this Floyd Rose style. The relicing is nice and smooth on it. There's no like paint ends. You know, it feels smooth when you rub your finger across. I pulled the tremolo cover off. I didn't do the cellophane on that control cavity thing yet. This is supposed to be roasted flame maple, even though I wouldn't be surprised if that's painted on flame. Never know. Never know. Ugly scarf joint. Oxidized tuners. I want to go through the bads of the guitar, something that nobody's going to tell you, and then we'll go through the goods. There's a lot of goods. This is an amazing guitar. When you get the thing, it's not going to be set up right. The strings will be a little bit high, and if you lower the trim, at least on this one, to where the action is about a 16th, you know, through here, if you're metric, I don't know, 1.5 millimeter, something like that, if you lower it to that action, it's close enough to where if you was to go forward, the trim would chew into the wood, and I don't like that. So one thing I had to do, just for it to be set up properly action-wise, I had to pull the neck off and put a shim in the neck pocket. I did this with aluminum foil folded into a wedge. Some people use business cards, some people use sandpaper. Whatever you do, however you want to do it. It just needed to be shimmed just a little bit to be able to bring that much of a gap up, okay? So that in itself is a pain in the ass. This comes with some strings that felt like 10s, and they feel like they're just plain steel. Like they're not even nickel plated is what they feel like, because after you play them a little while, they'll turn your fingers black almost, and it stinks. You know, it's got like this oxidized steel smell to it. They're just real nasty strings. You're going to want to get the stock strings off of these. So when you go to change the strings, you're going to have to do a complete Floyd Rose setup on the guitar, because this has got Ernie Ball 9s on it in E flat, and that is nowhere near Chinese 10s and standard, right? So these springs back here are super stiff and they're real creaky. I pulled the center one out, just totally. And that made it pretty close for the E flat. The intonation was off on it. Had to go through and do all of that. The guitar had this sticky crap all over it through here, which was like some kind of tape adhesive. So I had to go over that with some naphtha lighter fluid to get the sticky crap off. The truss rod did not need much adjusting at all. I mean, it was pretty close, but I took this off anyway just for easy access. The two screws that hold the nut assembly to the wood, one of them was stripped out. So one was tightened well, the other one was stripped out. I went through and just checked everything on this guitar, right? And it wasn't like I did it. I was just seen it wasn't grabbing, so I had to somewhat fill that hole in with chips and get the screw to tighten. So had to make sure this was torqued down properly. Even though these are stainless frets, they're not buttery smooth. They need to be polished. I went over these frets. You know, I taped it off like I was going to do the steel wool, but instead I went over it with Miracle Cloth because I don't like steel wool. But anyway, I scrubbed them good with Miracle Cloth, and they're still scratchy. So that's somewhat of a big deal, man. If you want the buttery smooth stainless frets, I'm still going to have to go over this thing with something like 4-aught or something. I guess steel wool will do that with stainless, right? If not, I'm going to have to go over it with some kind of Dremel barrel. This is something none of these paid reviewers are telling you, bro. But yeah, you're going to have to polish the stainless steel. But just the fact that it has stainless steel frets on it is fantastic. This thing here, it's a total piece of junk, bro. Other reviewers are mentioning this pretty much because they have to. This bar won't tighten. It's loose. If you jerk around with this thing or a little bit, the bullet will start coming loose, and you'll have to keep torquing the bullet down. There's a Allen screw there. every so often you're going to have to torque this bullet down because this wiggles the bullet loose on it. The tremolo does not center. It doesn't zero out. There's like a quarter step window of zero. So sometimes it'll go back to zero. Sometimes it'll be a little bit flat. Sometimes it'd be a little bit sharp. So it's kind of like when you're using the bar on it, you got to find zero and leave it alone. So that's no bueno. This tremolo system's going to have to come off of here. Here's a concern I have with this oxidation. I don't really know what they use to cause it, right? If it's something that can be transferable, I worry about putting this in a case and it transfer to the case, right? Or a gig bag. Then later on, you want to use the case for a normal guitar and then something transfer back. Then the other guitar starts oxidizing, right? Because of some kind of transfer. So because of that, I'm not wanting to put this thing in any case right now. So until I get a regular chrome tremolo on it, I'm not going to be putting it in any of my cases. There is a lot of goods about this guitar. This pickup sounds awesome, bro. I have some pretty high-end guitars back here, some Kiesels, and this pickup sounds better than those pickups. It looks great. It feels great. It's super cool. Got a cool vibe. It's definitely a good platform to put you a guitar together with, man. It's $200 if you could catch it on sale. I don't know what normal price is. I'm just going to play a little on clean and then play with distortion. You guys that don't like distortion, man, why don't you play any clean tones? Dude, clean tone sounds the same. When you're listening to clean tone, you're hearing the player's hands. You can't go by the player's hands. Aside from twisting a treble knob or a tone knob, every clean channel sounds the same. The difference you're going to hear is edge of breakup and then the distortion tones. That's why a lot of people just play with distortion, because that's what's going to be different. Know what I mean? I'm tired of YouTubers being given these guitars and given a biased review on them. They're probably accepting payment for the review, and it's just BS. So I'm going to start a series called No BS Reviews. I don't give a rat's ass. Every video you watch, you got to watch some big intro. Dude, we don't have time for that. Let me ask you to take a second to hit the subscribe button. Shut the f*** up. So it's already bad enough you got to watch commercials, right? They're going to start playing theatrical previews.
He was a man, unlike any other man.
You know you're going to watch these previews of movies that are coming out.
This July, Tom Cruise, Matthew McConaughey.
And then before their freaking intro, it's going to be like the popcorn. You know how they used to do the popcorn and please be quiet and please take crying kids out. And then
Badass Billy's YouTube channel.
all the twirling text and shit. This has been No BS Reviews. I'm not being paid. I bought this piece of shit with my own money. Hey, I look like that freaking Humpty.
Stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you used to. I look funny.